Hello and welcome to Daytona 500 qualifying, where we will set the front row for the Daytona 500 with 45 cars. So it's going to be a long night. Thank you for joining and sit back. We got 45 cars to go through. And what a start we're going to have to this Daytona 500 qualifying with Shank being the first one to go. The order, you can see it on the right side of the screen, it was randomly set. And we've got two-time Daytona 500 winner. He won 2 of the last 3 Daytona 500s. He's going to be the first one to go. He was ranked 3rd as most likely to win the Daytona 500, and this could be a really big lap already with the first car to go. So we have kind of a weird setup today, because now we show you the times. We'll show you the lap times and the leaderboard. It will update every 5 minutes, however. Obviously there's no lap time to show you right now. Shank with 55 seconds after the first lap, but we still have another lap to go, and the first lap is always a slow one. Shank coming off turn 4, coming down the front straightaway to complete the first lap. He completes his qualifying time with a 49.19.
Drivers, to your car. Drivers, to your cars.
Second car to go is Rookie of the Year contender Setgast, driving the 78. That will be for Furniture Row Racing. That team has expanded to a 2-car team. They will have Setgast in the 78, and another Rookie of the Year contender, Adams, will drive the 79. This will be Setgast's first career start. Adams made 1 start in season 11, so this will be his second. You see kind of an odd paint scheme on this 78 car. Car is practically made out of wood. Well, not literally, but the colors are wooden. Fender Guitars is his sponsor. And we'll see how this kid does in his first qualifying laps in the series. 49.19 is the time to beat set by Shank. That time is not yet shown on the leaderboard. It should soon. Off turn 4, coming to complete his time lap, is Setgast in the 78. And it's going to be a 49.713. Not faster than Shank, so it He will not get his first career pole here today.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Next up is going to be Cooper driving the 61 car for Wood Brothers Racing with new sponsor Google on that car. Kendall, who had that sponsor last season, he is no longer in the series. He's now racing in the lower level, which we do not air or show or talk about. So Kendall will not compete full-time this season. Cooper will take over the Google paint scheme. Okay, apologies for that. 49.564 for Cooper. That puts him in second. Get ready for this lap. We have Yates in the 5, the winner of the Daytona 500 pole in the past 2 seasons. He's the season 10 and 11 Daytona 500 pole winner. We'll see if he can make it 3 in a row. As I said, we've got a long day for you today. Only 3 cars have completed their laps. We still have 42 to go. Hope that was not too loud. Yates coming to complete his first lap. So it is Schenk the fastest, Cooper second, and Setgas third. The standings have not yet updated. They will here shortly. Here comes Yates off of turn 4. To complete his time lap, can he beat Schenk and have a run at his third pole in a row? 49.604. No, he cannot. It is only third for Yates. And he will not even start on the front row either.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your car. Drivers, to your car. Drivers, to your cars.
PS, get used to hearing that drivers to your cars a lot, all the time. There's nothing I can do about it. Up next we have Moore in the 74, and if you are a new team, Moore Motorsports, if you look on the right at the standings, names that are in a light reddish color mean that the driver is not locked into the Daytona 500. Starting on the front row or winning one of the duels will lock you into the 500. Otherwise, we go back to our points system that we used last season. Drivers will earn points based on where they qualify and where they finish in the Daytona in the duels. And the drivers with the most points make the 500, and those with the least points do not. 5 drivers will DNQ from the Daytona 500. We have 12 who must make it, so 7 will get in and 5 will be out. Moore set to drive the full season for the 74. Who was previously on Front Row Motorsports. That team has been shut down. So Moore has created his own team with the money that he earned from all the time racing before this. And he's running this team by himself, hired a couple guys, and here it comes off turn 4. We'll see how this little team does. .017, that is the slowest out of everyone so far.
Drivers, to your cars. 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 Drivers, to your cars.
Sorry for all that. We have Flynn in the 22, next on track. He also must earn his way into the 500. He did not make it last season, driving for Monster Energy Racing, in which 3 of the 4 cars in Monster Energy Racing did not qualify for the 500. And now once again, all 4 of them must make it again. His team consists of course, himself, Santanastazo, Krebs, and Sharp. You can see all their names are in the light red color. Flynn has been in this series since the start, since season 1. He participated in all 12 seasons. Hasn't won a Daytona 500, but he has been close before. It was season 7 or 8, I believe. He led the most laps, but ended up not winning. That was when Flinchum won it. Yeah, so that would be season 7. Completing his second lap, 49.546. That puts him up to second. And he now has a spot in the front row as it stands now.
Drivers, to your cars.
Bray, who was a rookie last season, this will be his second season, his second Daytona 500, driving the number 9 Sweet Frog car. Same sponsor as last season, but he is now in a new team, which is his own team shared with Donato, called Donato Bray Racing. Both drivers have left Young Life Racing and now starting their own team. Donato still is in number 8 Doritos car, but Bray, who was the 15, now is number 9. And curious to see how this team performs compared to last season. See if this team is better or worse than Young Life Racing. They're saying it will be better, but we'll wait and see. Completes his first lap now, coming around for his second lap. Bray had a nice run here at Daytona in the night race last season. Ran up front a lot, almost won one of the stages. By the way, apologies for how late this started. This was supposed to start at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. It is now past 9. But we have our duels scheduled for tomorrow at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. And hope to see you there, as here comes Bray to complete his second lap. 48.175. And that beats Shank by over a whole second.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Up next is the 2 of Simeon, who's been in the series since season 2. New paint scheme, we saw it last night, but we did not get to see it for very long, as he was involved in a wreck on lap 1 and could not continue after that. So it is another Green Day paint scheme. He's had Green Day sponsor his car for the past 3 seasons now. However, it's been a different sponsor every time. In season 10 it was American Idiot, in season 11 it was 21st Century Breakdown, and we now have the classic Dookie album on the car this season. Simeon finished off with 2 wins in season 11. Never won Daytona 500 or any restrictor plate track. Driving for Team Penske, which is now a 3-car team. They have added Coatney, who will drive the 3rd Penske car, number 39. This is looking pretty fast already, up to 185 miles per hour. So we will run all 45 cars at once. However, we will have a 10 to 15 minute break after the halfway point, which will be the 23rd car. Because, you know, I need a break, I need to get a drink and stuff. Simeon coming to complete his 2nd lap. We'll see how he does. 48.9 or 0.594, that puts him up to 2nd. And now Bray and Simeon on the front row as it stands.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Next up is Clayton in the 55, one of 3 female drivers in this series and making her debut if she does qualify. And an interesting story for her. Originally, she was only scheduled to race the Daytona 500, and that was it for all of season 12. However, it was announced that Turner is going to run only the Daytona 500, and then he is going to leave the series. Therefore, after Daytona, Cox, who's also another female driver, Cox will go from the 47 to the 98, and Clayton will go from the 55 to the 47 and run the full season. So she is driving the 55 only in the Daytona 500. She will be number 47 the rest of the season. Coming off turn 4, we'll see where she stands. Coming across the start-finish line. 50.369, and that is going to be put her as the slowest out of everyone who's gone so far.
Drivers, to your cars.
Up next, we've got Costanza in the 30. Excuse me. Driving the Monster Energy number 30 Chevrolet for R3 Motorsports now. Last season he was in Young Life Racing. He has left the team and now driving for R3 Motorsports, but interestingly, Costanza has been in 4 different teams. However, his car number has never been anything other than 30. 30 has just been Costanza's number. He's stuck with it throughout all these teams. And so he's pretty used to being known as number 30 by now. But one thing he wants to improve on is he does not want to be known to be in position number 30 every race. And he thinks that with this new team he will be running towards the front a lot more often. We saw a good run from him at Martinsville, the second Martinsville race last season. Won one of the stages and ended up with a top 10. Still looking for his first career win. This will be the start of his 3rd season. Lots of speed for Costanza coming down the back straightaway up to 187, now 188. We could be surprised here. Some of these, we have new cars, new teams. We have no idea who's going to be good, who's not going to be good. Here comes Setgast coming across the line. 48.214. That puts him now up to 2nd. Knocks Simeon off the front row.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your car. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Donato in the number 8. Next to go. We had just talked about this not long ago at all. He is now driving for his own new team, Donato Bray Racing. Him and Bray, of course, will drive car numbers 8 and 9. Donato still same sponsor, same car number, but new team. Was a rookie last season, now in his 2nd season. And his teammate Bray, currently sitting on top of the board. We'll see how Donato can do, if he can get up there with his teammate or not. Donato off of turn 4, coming to see the checkered flag. Well, actually we don't have flags, but completing his time lap. 50.238. So that puts him at only 10th out of 11. Not a great lap to him, but not the end of the world.
Drivers, to your cars.
Up next here is your class winner from last night, Hoffman in the 10. That car was fast in the class. We'll see how fast it is here today. Was quite a surprise winner for Hoffman to win it. We had him as one of the underdogs in the clash, but he was the one in front, held off Knifely and Otto Manelli to get his first class win, his first Daytona win. It's a special night for that 10 car. Driving for Young Life Racing now, that team with an entirely new roster. Hoffman will drive the 10 with Bywater in the 15 and Hannon in the 51. As Richard Petty Motorsports, which had Bywater and Hannon, that team has shut down, so Hoffman left SHR, picked those guys up, and they took over Young Life Racing. This looks like it could be a strong lap. He's going pretty fast down the front straightaway. Finishing his second lap, we'll see how Hoffman stands. 47.965, and that puts him to the top of the board. Bray now to second. Hoffman now the new Daytona 500 pole sitter. Oh, sorry, but we still have a long way to go.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Rick in the 99 next on track. This will be his third Daytona 500 start. And another team that has closed was Rouse Fenway Racing. And so Rick and Ollinger, who also was on Rouse Fenway Racing, have teamed up, started their own team called Anchor Racing, and Rick in the 99, Ollinger in the 17. We'll see how this team performs this season, because Rouse Fenway Racing really struggled these past several seasons. Last time Rouse Fenway Racing won a race was Hoffman all the way back in season 7. Actually, season 8. It's still a very long time since that team has won, but they are now shut down. They're not going to win anymore. So we'll see how this new team does with Rick and Ollinger. As Rick comes to complete his first lap, had a nice run here, finished in the top 5 at the Daytona night race last season. Here comes Rick off turn 4. He will see the checkered complete his time lap. 49.407. And that puts him in 6th fastest out of 13.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Up next, we mentioned her before, Cox in the 47, one of 3 female drivers in the Daytona 500. Driving the 47 for Daytona only, we mentioned that she will go to the 98 car after Turner leaves, which will be after Daytona. She won the Daytona 500 pole in her rookie season, but that's back when we had group qualifying. So really anyone could have won that pole, but it doesn't mean it wasn't impressive. Great qualifying effort for her in her rookie season. We'll see how she performs tonight and try and put herself on the front row again. Coming through 3 and 4. See how she does compared to everyone else. Completing her second lap. .241. Good lap for her. That puts her up to 6th place.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
On track now is a 93 of Hudson. Used to be Combs, but he now has announced he will not run full-time in season 12. He will race the Daytona 500, however, and he will also still own the team Combs right now are racing, but he will step away from full-time racing only the Daytona 500. At least that's how he plans to run. And Hudson will drive the 93 full-time. He did not drive full-time last season. He shared the 29 ride with Holder, which Holder also will drive full-time this season in the 40. Same team, car numbers changed to 40. Has been the series since season 1. So he definitely knows how to go around these tracks. He has 1 career win, which came all the way back in season 2. And we'll see how he does this season. Completes his second lap, 50.426. And that is the slowest of everyone so far. Hudson, 15th out of 15.
Drivers, to your cars.
Here is someone who has attempted to start the Daytona 500 3 times, but has never been able to do it. This is his 4th attempt. Wasserbog in the 86. We've always been seeing him coming to the Daytona 500 try to start the race, but just the qualifying and the duels have not been his friend. And we'll see if he can finally do it. At least he has lots of duel experience, but all that's missing is Daytona 500 experience. Completing his first lap, which doesn't mean anything just to get up to speed lap. This second lap is the one that counts. It's either red, the light red color behind his name in the standings on the right side means he is not locked into the Daytona 500. He must get in from qualifying and the duels if he's going to be one of the 40 cars starting the 500. By the way, Daytona 500 scheduled for Sunday at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. We have our duels tomorrow at 4 o'clock. And then we will have no events from Wednesday to Saturday, and Sunday will finally be the 500. Wasserbog off turn 4 coming to complete his lap 49.952, which puts him in 12th place.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Next on track is Bywater in the 15, who has the Daytona win. Not the Daytona 500, just the night race. Finished 5th in last season's Daytona 500. Driving the Pop-Tarts number 15. Same sponsor, but now driving for Young Life Racing. As we mentioned earlier, Richard Petty Motorsports has shut down at the conclusion of season 11. Him and Hannon, who were teammates last season, have joined Hoffman, and they all own Young Life Racing together, trying to make that team as good as possible. They're off to a good start. Hoffman won the Clash, and currently Hoffman sitting on top of the board for the pole. And we'll see how Bywater does in his Daytona 500 qualifying lap. By the way, excuse the error on the standings. Wasabog scored 16th. He is actually 12th fastest. Bywater coming to complete his time lap, and we'll see where he stands. 49.225. Pretty nice lap for him. That puts him in 6th.
Drivers, to your car. Drivers, to your cars.
And we've got Rookie of the Year contender Adams, driving number 79 for Furniture Row Racing. New driver, he made one attempt in season 11 when Costanza was injured. After Talladega, he raced Kansas the following race in that 30 car, and now driving full-time as a rookie. And Samuel Adams, that is his real name, and so what better sponsor for him to have than Samuel Adams. So a little bit of humor there for his car. Rookie of the Year contender completes his first lap. His teammate Setgast only 11th fastest out of 17. 12th fastest. So we'll see how this rookie does. You see the yellow stripes on the back of the car indicates that he is a rookie. Those stripes will stay on the back of his car all season, as they stayed on the back of last season's rookies' cars, and they are now gone as they are no longer rookies. And the stripe set is not the driver's. Adams coming off of turn number 4 to complete his time lap. .774 puts him in 5th place. Nice lap for the rookie.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Up next is McGuckin in the 23. Reigning series champion, reigning Daytona 500 winner. This is going to be one to watch. He started the last Daytona 500 in the 38th position after a crash in the Duels, but he ended up moving to the front and dominating, winning that race. His second Daytona 500 win, as he also won the season 4 Daytona 500, and he got his 5th championship about a month ago, a little less than a month ago at Homestead. He is the only multi-championship winning driver, and he has 5 of them. Sponsored by Toontown Rewritten, which was on Lacko's car last season, not anymore. This paint scheme was not yet revealed in the clash. He was still that Rise Against car. But now driving the 23, you see the white, red, and yellow colors on it. And we'll see how he does in his qualifying lap. He's never really had success in Daytona 500 qualifying. Never started on the front row, has always struggled in the 500 qualifying. We'll see how he does this time. Off of turn 4, coming to complete his time lap. We'll see where he stands. 49.131. That puts him in 6th place out of 18. Out of 19, excuse me.
Drivers, to your cars.
Santanastazzo in the 21 on track now, the 3rd and final female driver in the series, as we had Clayton and Cox go already. Driving for Monster Energy Racing. She is the second of 4 Monster Energy Racing cars to go. All 4 of them must qualify for the Daytona 500. And forgot to talk about Adams, who you see has a red color. You may be saying, why does Adams have a red color on his name and his rookie teammate Setgas does not? And the answer is because there are 4 ways to lock yourself in the Daytona 500. First way is having a past Daytona 500 win. The second is having a past championship. Obviously neither of them have either of those. The third one is top 30 in driver points last season. Obviously neither of them had that. And the fourth way to get in is top 30 in owner points last season, which Coatney drove the 78. Definitely did better than 30th. And so Setgas 78 was a top 30 car in owner points last season. The 79 is a new car. It is the first time that the team has had 2 cars in the team. So therefore no earners points on the 79. Adams must earn his way into the Daytona 500. Santanastazzo actually looking pretty fast coming down the back straightaway. See how she does coming off turn 4. She's the 20th person to qualify. The qualifying order was set by random draw. And 48.703, a really nice run for her. She is 5th fastest.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Smith in the 6th next on track. I do not entirely remember, but I think he started 2nd in last season's Daytona 500. Not entirely sure. But here he goes. We'll see where he starts in this Daytona 500. Had quite a race yesterday at the class. Ended up going over and landed on his wheels with a big wreck that happened in turn 3, about halfway. Actually, it was a little less than halfway from the race. Got slammed by hammock and ended up flipping over, but he landed on his wheels. Driver was okay. And good to see him back in good shape to qualify for the Daytona 500. Smith had, well, first of all, he was in the Final 4 last season, made his first championship 4. However, was in an accident at Homestead, ended up 4th in the championship, but still a very great season for him. In last season's Daytona 500 and the Clash, both of those races, he had an engine issue early. Ended up last in both of those races, but he then won the following race, Atlanta. So it made up for that. As we have Smith running his time lap now. Off turn 4, what's it going to be? Does Smith have anything for the top 2? 49.006 puts him in 6th place. I correct myself, the standings was not updated yet from Santa Anastasio's lap. Standings was not updated. Smith currently 7th.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Lively in the 48 next on track, he announced that this will be his final season after participating in all 12 seasons. This will be his last one. Still looking for a Daytona 500 win, still looking for a championship. This is his last chance to do it. Coming to take the green. We expect this car to be a big contender to possibly start on the front row, maybe even the pole. Driving still sponsored by Microsoft, but now with a blue paint scheme. More specifically Microsoft Windows. Previously he was Xbox One car. And I like the new colors. We'll see how nicely does in this qualifying run. Coming off turn 4 to complete his second lap, we'll see where he stands. Finished second in yesterday's class, 49.24.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Up next we've got Hannon in the 51, now driving for Young Life Racing. As we mentioned, Richard Petty Motorsports has shut down. His old teammate Bywater has joined the team with him, and they have brought Hoffman as well. Currently teammate Hoffman sitting on top of the board. Hannon was a Rookie of the Year contender last season, so now in his second season. By the way, it was Hammock who won Rookie of the Year in season 11. And it's hard to say of the year because obviously a season is less than a year long, but I don't know what else to say. Rookie of the season, that sounds weird. I'm used to saying Rookie of the Year, so I'm going to stick with it. That car now sponsored by Geico. Previously, Stevens had the Geico car, but he is now gone, no longer in the series. So Hannon picked up the Geico sponsorship, and we'll see how Hannon and his new team does this season, more specifically now in his qualifying lap, completing his first lap and getting his time lapse started now. This is the last car that we will have until we take our 15-minute break. We will have complete 23 cars, and when we get back from our 15-minute break, we will have 22 to go to decide the front row for the Daytona 500. And then down the back straightaway now entering turn 3. And off turn 4, we'll see where Hannon stands. 49.576. That's going to put him in 16th out of 23. So we are now done. We are now going to take about a 15-minute break as we are halfway done. It is currently Hoffman and Bray on the front row. 23 cars have finished their lap, 22 to go. We'll see what happens in the second half. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. Hello. I don't know, the mic mute buttons weren't working. But anyways, hopefully it was recording the sound the whole time.
Drivers, to your cars.
We are here for the second half now of our Daytona 500 qualifying, with Franklin in the 88 on track next. This will be his 4th season, returning to Hendrick Motorsports and continuing to have the McDonald's paint scheme, but really hasn't had as great of a season as we expected him to have last season. He did get one win, but it came very late. It wasn't until Texas, the last Texas race. Had a nice run at Homestead, but ever since Franklin and the 88 team besides that, Franklin and the 88 team really hasn't had the speed as he had in the past, back when he was in the 11 with Joe Gibbs Racing. We'll see how he does this season. If he improves, if he falls, who knows. He's looking pretty fast. We'll see how he does, completing his 2nd time lap. And Franklin in the 88. I'm sorry, we had the wrong screen up. 48.876. That puts him in 7th fastest.
Drivers, to your car. Drivers, to your cars.
On track next is Lightning McQueen, which of course is driver son, driving the 95, sponsored by Cars 3, which came out in theaters during the off-season. He was sponsored by, he had this same paint scheme last season. And of course, what better car to put this on than the 95 for driving for Levine Family Racing. Son in the 95 he was a rookie in season 8. So that makes this his 5th Daytona 500. His 5th Daytona 500 attempt at least. I'm not sure if he's ever DNQ'd from any 500s. I don't think he has. Completes his 1st lap. If you saw the other Cars 3 paint scheme before, that was the 86 of Wassabaug, also for Levine Family Racing, which of course also is sponsored by Cars 3. He had that paint scheme last season as well. as we see Sun coming through 3 and 4. Completes his second time lap, 49.937.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
On track now is Weidenhoff, Rookie of the Year contender. I believe he is the last Rookie of the Year contender. Yes, he is, to qualify today. Driving the 37 Geometry Dash Chevy for R3 Motorsports, teammates with Costanza, who currently is third fastest. He will make his series debut in the Daytona 500. Assuming he makes it, he has to qualify for the race. Excuse that clicking if you heard it. R3 Motorsports was in need of another driver after both of their drivers left the series last season, Stevens and Horkler. So they picked up Costanza and they found Weidenhoff. They thought he would be a good driver for the series. We'll see if they're right. Comes to complete his second lap. Completes his first lap, now running his second lap. By the way, yeah, we know he has to qualify for the 500. Bray, if he ends up second, he does lock himself into the Daytona 500. Points won't matter. And Weidenhoff is going to get 50.02. That puts him in 22nd out of 26.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Okay, so I just remembered it was Helmenthaler who started second in last season's Daytona 500, but teammates with Smith. I questioned earlier if Smith started second in last season's Daytona 500. He did not, but he did win the Daytona 500 pole before, back in season 8, I believe. Might have been 9 actually, I'm not sure. Yeah, it had to have been season 9, because season 8 is when he was out. It was his rookie season. He missed most of the races, and therefore did not have enough points to lock himself into the 500. So he won the pole, which did lock him into the 500. And I don't know why we're talking about Smith, but we have Helmenthaler on track in the 13. Very impressive season last season. This is his second season driving for Joe Gibbs Racing. Made Homestead last season, finished 3rd overall in the championship. 6 wins for that 13 car. Of course, was not as many as McGuckian's 9 wins, but still a very strong, very strong season. A lot better than we expected. We actually had no idea how good he would be at the start of the season in season 11, but now we know he's good. And we talked about this yesterday. Last season he had the Dale Earnhardt Wrangler paint scheme. Now he continues that trend with the Dale Earnhardt Goodwrench paint scheme. And here he comes to complete his second lap. 49.337 is what Helmenthaler will time. I don't know if that was muted or not, but puts Helmenthaler in 14th.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your car. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Well, that was annoying. Ridenauer in 92 on track next. Driving for Combs Ridenauer Racing, his own team, served by Combs, who will not drive full-time. He will be teammates with Hudson the whole season. Combs will participate in the Daytona 500 for a 3rd car in this team. That will be the only time that 3rd car will appear. He has been in the series since season 1, but is still yet to find a win. Came close in the season 4 Daytona 500 actually. We'll see how he does in this qualifying effort, how he does this season, as he completes his first lap. Pretty fast, 184 miles per hour down the back straightaway for Ridenauer. He must qualify into the Daytona 500. Did not finish top 30 in points last season. And it's going to be 49.13 for Ridenauer, which will put him in 9th place. Great lap for him.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
It continues to be Hoffman and Bray first and second. We have Rigsby on track now in the 3 for his third Daytona 500. He was a rookie in season 10. Still looking for a first career win, and starts his qualifying run here. He will be the 29th car to qualify, and then after him we will have 16 cars to go. We're going to have our 3 Richard Childress Racing cars, which are Rigsby, Austin, and Flincham, all nearly within each other. Rigsby will be next, Austin will be, well, Rigsby is now, Austin will be next. We will then have Turner, and then after him will be Flincham. So the 3 RCR cars going 29th, 30th, and 32nd. Rigsby completes his first lap. Car is looking very fast. He's up to 186, 187 down the back straightaway. 47.965 is the lap time to beat. 48.175 for him to start in the front row. Or for him to put himself in the front row anyways. Comes off turn 4. We'll see where Rigsby stands completing his second lap. 48.167, and he does beat Bray and puts himself on the front row.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
We've got Austin in the 27 on track next. And he is not a rookie. It is his first time returning in a long time, however. He was a racer in seasons 3, 4, and 5. After that, he left the series, and he is back now 7 seasons later in season 12. Driving the 27 for Richard Childress Racing, sponsored by I Am Second. Drove the 27 in season 4, and he's now back in that team. We'll see where he stands. We'll see how much this guy has improved over the course of his long break. We saw similar for Krebs. He left around season 6 and came back about 3 seasons later. Completes his first lap, gets his second lap started. This car's looking pretty fast as well. Those Richard Childress Racing cars could be really strong in the Daytona 500. Here comes Austin off of turn 4, coming to see to complete his second lap. We'll see how he does. 48.786. Not too many drivers have gone 48-second range.
Drivers, to your cars.
Turner coming to the green. Big story for him. Announced he will not return to the series at the conclusion of the Daytona 500. He was originally planned to drive the full season 12. But he announced he will run one last race at Daytona 500, and then after that, he will be done. It will be Cox, we mentioned her earlier, driving the 98 for the rest of the season after Daytona, and Clayton, who's driving the 55 at Daytona, will drive the 47 for the rest of the season. And Turner will be missed. He has a championship. He has a Daytona 500 win. A championship in Season 4, Daytona 500 win in Season 8. One last race for Turner. He was in the Clash last night. Very fast, already up to 187. We'll see how he does. 47.965 is the time to beat. Hoffman currently sitting on the pole. Rigsby second. Turner has won the Daytona 500 pole before. And Turner is scored to be the number one most likely to win the Daytona 500. McGuckin is the second most likely. Schenk is third. Yates fourth. And Knifley fifth. Here comes Lacko to complete the second lap. Where does he stand? 47.789. Top of the board for Turner.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your car. Drivers, to your cars.
Got another Daytona 500 winner on track now. That is Flincham in the 29. And definitely one of the best when it comes to Daytona. He's one of the favorite underdogs to win this race. Season 8 Daytona, I'm sorry, Season 7 Daytona 500 winner. And get this. sorry. Get this. For Flinchum, 8 of the last 9 Daytona 500s, Flinchum has finished in the top 7. That is a great statistic. 8 of the last 9, top 7 for Flinchum. It's hard to do well in the Daytona 500. We know how unpredictable this track is. 1 win and 2 runner-ups for Flinchum. We'll see how he does in his qualifying run. Same team, new sponsor, Napa Auto Parts, and new car number 29, as Austin has gotten the 27 now. Turner on top of the board. The standings has not yet updated. Flinchum coming off turn 4 to complete his second lap. We'll see where he stands compared to everyone else. He is the 32nd car to put a lap down. 49.503.
Drivers, to your cars.
Otto Manelli in the 14, next on track. His teammate Turner, he's now in a 2-car team. SHR has went down to 2 cars after they lost Hoffman. Now a 2-car team, his teammate Turner on top. We'll see where Otto Manelli stands. And unlike Turner, Otto Manelli hates these plate tracks, not a fan of them. Came close in yesterday's clash, but this has not had much luck at the plate tracks. We'll see how he does in his qualifying effort. Flinchum, by the way, is 20th out of 32. We do have a little error in our standings. Yeah, there's 2 cars scored 30th. I gotta fix that. Otto Manelli completing his first lap. We'll get his second lap underway here. Looking pretty fast, 185 miles per hour down the back straightaway. Fastest part of the track. Now coming off of turn 4. We'll see where Otto Manelli stands. I know I say that at the end of every, right before every lap ends. 48.657, so a nice lap for him. Otto Manelli is 7th fastest.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Our very first champion, Holder in the 40, is on track. He will drive full-time this season. Last season he shared a ride with Hudson. But now Hudson, with Combs right now, are racing Holder by himself in his own team. Well, not his own team, but Circle Sport Inc. First lap looking pretty fast. 182 across the line, and now getting his second lap underway. Off turn 4, and I know I'm going to say it again, and it's probably getting annoying by now. We'll see where he stands. 49.06, pretty nice lap for that 40 car.
Drivers, to your cars.
Kagzinski is on track next, driving the 4. Bass Pro Shops is his new sponsor. And driving for Athletic Racing, his teammate Miller is up next. Qualifying order was set by random draw, and the two teammates, Kagzinski and Miller, both got 35th and 36th, so we'll see Miller up next. And we'll see how Kagzinski does. Got 1 win last season at a really nice season. It was definitely his best one. And we see this kid just get better and better every time. He was a season 5 rookie. So this will be his 8th Daytona 500. See the fish on the back of that car. Because, you know, they sell fishing supplies. Completes his first lap. This car is looking fast. 188 across the line. .789 is the time to beat. And Kagzinski really storming, coming off turn 2. We'll see if he has anything for Turner. off turn 4. This could be a huge lap. This is definitely at least a front row lap. Will it be for the pole? 47.613, top of the board for Kagzinski.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
And that knocked Hoffman off the front row, and here's his teammate Miller, who is next on track. Ford is once at the top of the board. We'll see how the 11 does. Same sponsor, same car, same team as last season. Miller is sponsored by Apple. He has been in the series since season 1. So he's been here the whole time. 12th Daytona 500 start. Still looking for a Daytona 500 win. He is the season 6 champion. And we'll see how fast that car is for his qualifying lap, after his teammate just went to first. First lap complete, now going with his second lap. Speed is not looking as fast as Kagzinski was, but it's still looking pretty good. Could be in the top 10. We have now just 10 cars to go after Miller completes his lap. There will be only 9 cars to go. .756 for Miller. So we just said could be top 10 lap. It was exactly 10th.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
On track now is Benjamin in the 1. Season 5 Daytona 500 winner. He is always fast when we come to Daytona and Talladega. He also has 2 Talladega wins. One of them came last season. And we'll see how the 1 car does. His teammate Matthew is the second to last to go in the 42 car. driving for Chip Ganassi Racing, which we thought might possibly shut down during Season 11, but we're at the start of Season 12, the team is still running. They did get a win at Talladega, as we just mentioned. And we'll see how Benjamin does this season. Still getting up to speed. Coming to complete his first lap. Get his second lap started. .857 for Benjamin.
Drivers, to your cars.
Courtney in the 39 on track. New team, Team Penske. Now, a third Penske driver. The team has always been 2 cars, but for the first time it is now 3 cars. Teammates with Hammock, who is still yet to qualify, and Simeon, who currently is 7th. Was previously on Furniture Row Racing, that team now with 2 rookies. Cody has been in the series since Season 1. He's still looking for a Daytona 500 win, still looking for a championship, but had a really good season last season. Made the round of 8, I believe. Looking pretty good with the speed to 185 as he completes his first lap and getting his second lap underway. Cody coming off turn 4. This is looking pretty fast. We'll see. See how he does. Coming across the line, 48.271. That's going to put him in 7th place.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Got Sharp in the 77 on track next, who must qualify into the Daytona 500. He's not locked in, driving for Monster Energy Racing. He also has been in the series for 12 seasons, I believe. All 12 seasons. I actually am not entirely sure. He might be season 2 veteran. But either way, he's been here for a long time. Has had success at Talladega. And we'll see how he does here in season 12 Daytona 500. First of all, he has to qualify his way in the race, completing his first lap and starting his second lap. Sharp coming across the line, we'll see where he stands. .25 puts him 36th out of 38.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Next we have Lacko in the 20, who could be one of the favorites. We are down to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars yet left to go. And this could be one of the favorites to win the pole, or possibly the front row. He is the reigning series runner-up. Had a great season last season. Took him a long time to find a win, but when he did, he ended up having 3 and making Homestead to finish 2nd overall. And he came close. Was leading the championship for a good while at Homestead, but eventually got passed by McGuckin late in the race. Comes off turn 4, will complete his first lap, starting his second lap. Pretty nice speed, 187 down the back straightaway. The time to beat for the pole is 47.613. And to get on the front row, he has to beat 47.789. Here he comes off turn 4. We'll see Will Lacko start on the front row. 48.102, not quite. He goes to 4th. Great lap for Lacko.
Drivers, to your cars.
Up next we have Ollinger, driving the 17 for new team Anchor Racing, teammates with Rick in the 99, as the team Rouse Fenway Racing has shut down. So him and Rick have started their own team. The car is sponsored by Sassol, if I pronounced it right. The sponsor was requested by someone else, so I'm not entirely sure what it is. Ollinger has been in this series since season 7, so this will be his 6th Daytona 500 start. Completes his first lap, getting his second lap underway now. Going down the front straightaway, we'll see where he stands. .555, which will put him in 29th place.
Drivers, to your cars.
On track next is Hammock in the 12, reigning Rookie of the Year winner. This will be his 2nd season, 2nd Daytona 500. Driving for Team Penske, which is now a 3-car team, as they added Coatney during the off-season. His teammates currently are 8th and 9th, and we'll see how Hammock does compared to them and compared to everyone else. We are down to 4 cars to go. Nice speed for Hammock. Looking like a really fast lap. Finishes his first lap. Starting his second lap. 47.613 is the time to beat for the pole. 47.789 is the time to beat to get on the front row. This 12 is looking fast. Could be a huge lap. Hammock said during the off-season, we're going to be much better than before. We'll see if he's right coming off of turn 4. Complete his second lap. .026, fourth for Hammock.
Drivers, to your car. Drivers, to your cars.
On track next will be Combs. We have 3 cars to go. Combs starting only the Daytona 500 this season. At least that's all he plans to start. Announced that he will not run the full schedule of season 12. Still with that Cheerios sponsor. The third Combs Ridenour racing car. He still plans to own the team, however. With Ridenour. And we'll have driver Hudson in the 93, as we mentioned earlier. We'll see how Combs does in this qualifying lap. This is looking fast. Holy moly. He completes his first lap. Was not expecting this from Combs. This could be a front row, maybe even the pole lap here. Combs now coming down the back straightaway with a lot of steam. Kind of slowing down a little bit in the corners. We'll see where he stands as he comes off turn 4. Will he have anything for the front row? .969, fourth, so close.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
Matthew on track now, driving for Chip Ganassi Racing. New sponsor, was previously sponsored by Lego, now sponsored by Coca-Cola. Still driving the 42 car. Came close to making the chase last season. He's came close to making the chase many times, but has never actually made it. He's been in the series since season 7, still looking for his first career win. This will be his 6th Daytona 500. If he does not go to the top of the board here, then Kagzinski will lock in the front row, at least. Matthew completes his first lap, now starting his second lap. Through 3 and 4, here he comes down the front straightaway now. 47.613 is the lap time to beat. Matthew gets 48.793.
Drivers, to your cars. Drivers, to your cars.
We are down to our final car now. Krebs in the 53, driving for Monster Energy Racing, sponsored by Monster Energy. He is the last car to go. He must qualify into the 500. He has been in the series since season 1, but has missed a couple seasons. I believe he left after 5. He then missed 6 and 7. He came back for the second half of season 8 and then returned full-time in season 9. Matthew, by the way, 17th. The numbers have not updated yet. And here comes Krebs. Has to beat 47.613. Otherwise, Kagzinski is the pole winner for the Daytona 500. 47.789. Or else Turner will start second. He begins his second lap. Thank you for joining us during this coverage, by the way. It's been a long night. 45 cars. We are completing our final lap of Daytona 500 qualifying now. Krebs off of turn 4. The final car to finish his time. 49.626. Krebs is 36th fastest, and so your Daytona 500 pole winner and front row is it is confirmed. It is official. That's the word I was trying to think of. We'll go ahead and wait for the standings to update because right now the numbers are a little weird. The standings only update every 5 minutes, so apologies for the hold-up. And there it is. There's the updated standings and the official results. Kaczynski is your Daytona 500 pole winner, and Turner will start second on the outside. They are locked into the 500. The rest of the qualifying results, this is how they will line up in the duels. Hoffman 3rd, Combs 4th, Hammock 5th, Lacko 6th, Rigsby 7th, Bray 8th, Costanza 9th, and Coatney 10th. Simeon was 11th, Otto Manelli 12th, Santanestazo 13th, Miller 14th, Adams 15th, Austin 16th, Matthews 17th, Benjamin 18th, Franklin 19th, and Smith 20th. 21st was Holder, Ridenhour 22nd, McGuckian 23rd, Schenk 24th, Bywater 25th, Knifley 26th, Cox 27th, Helmenthaler 28th, Rick 29th, and Flincham 30th, Flynn 31st, Ollinger 32nd, Cooper 33rd, Hannon 34th, and really surprising to see Yates back there in 35th, who won the last 2 Daytona 500 poles in a row, now finds himself all the way down to 35th. Krebs 36th, Setgas 37th, Chun 38th, Washabog 39th, and Moore 40th. And lastly we have Weidenhoff 41st, Donato 42nd, Sharp 43rd, Clayton 44th, and Hudson 45th. Congratulations to Kaczynski, the pole winner, Turner 2nd, and they are locked into the front row for the Daytona 500. Tomorrow, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, hopefully, we will have our duels. That will be here, 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Duels at Daytona. 2 60-lap races to not only decide the full lineup for Daytona 500, but to also decide who makes the race and who does not. Drivers who have the light red names that are not locked into Daytona 500 will earn points based on qualifying. So nice points for Bray, Santanestazo, and Adams. and we'll see how the duels go down tomorrow. We'll see you there.